Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss session 2 of chapter 5. The name of the chapter is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Already I have completed session 1 of this chapter from your class 12 biology syllabus, and from this video we came to know the basis of genetics and different terminologies about genetics. In this video, we are going to discuss the first experiment of Mendel. So let's start to discuss our session 2 of this chapter. The first slide contains that why Mendel selected pea plant. The first slide contains why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment. In our previous video we came to know that Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment. But why? Why Mendel chose the pea plant for his experiment? The first thing is that it has the pure variety, and these pea plants are actually readily available on the large scale. So this is the first and foremost actually the point, the first and foremost cause. That's why Mendel selected pea plant. Next thing is the pea plants are easy to cultivate. Pea plants are easy to cultivate. Third point is the life cycle of plants are only few months, so that result can be got early. Fourth point is the contrasting traits are observed. In our last video, we have already discussed about the contrasting traits or contrasting characteristics of the pea plant. Next thing is the flowers are bisexual and normally self-pollinated. So you can say in this way that the flowers are the bisexual Cristogamous flower. Next thing is the flowers can be cross-pollinated only manually. And the last point is the hybrids are fertile in nature. So because of these 7 points, the Mendel selected pea plant, and above all actually Mendel selected 14 true breeding pea plant varieties as pairs, okay, and discovered some similar contrasting traits or characteristics. Based on these characteristics, Mendel experimented two ways. One is the monohybrid cross and the second one is the dihybrid cross. Today's topic is on the monohybrid cross. So what is the meaning of the monohybrid cross? So before starting this monohybrid cross discussion, you should know the inheritance of one gene. So this is one theory, that the inheritance of one gene theory. So first of all, I think all of you know that the gene is the main hereditary substance. Gene is the main inheriting substance, and generation after generation this gene actually transfer from parents to offspring, and this is solely unidirectional pathway. It never happened that the inheriting substance, the hereditary substance goes from offspring to parents. It's never happened. It always transfer from parents to offspring. So this inheritance of one gene actually can be explained by the Mendel monohybrid cross. So here monome is the one. I think all of you know that the word monome is the one. So what is the meaning of the monohybrid cross? The cross between two parents differing in one pair of contrasting character is called the monohybrid cross. I am repeating again, the cross between two parents differing in one pair of contrasting characteristics is called the monohybrid cross. The second point is that it actually crossed tall and dwarf pea plants. So these, for the height is one characteristic, and for the height characteristics, two allele is responsible for the characteristics height. One gene is responsible, and in our previous video we came to know that for one gene two contrasting characteristics is there for one gene. So these two contrasting characteristics, these two contrasting traits are called the allele. So different form of gene is called the allele. So for the height, one characteristics is height, and for the height two contrasting characters are there, tall and the dwarf. So it crossed only, actually he picked only one character. That's why this is called the monohybrid cross. He actually picked only one character. The name of the character is height of the pea plant, and for the height she denoted two actually two allele. The first one is the cross tall and dwarf pea plants, and it collected seeds and grew to generate fast hybrid generation, the F1 generation. Okay. Next thing is the F1 plants. It's called the tall and none were dwarf. And for the other trait also, F1 generation resembled only one parent and trait of other parent were not shown. The next thing is the cell-pollinated F1, that's called the F2. F2 generation means the when F1 generation multiply into the another F1 generation, that's called the F2 generation. So in the F2 generation, we are getting 1/4 dwarf and 3/4 tall. Okay, and the last point is the F1 generation one parent trait shown and F2 both parent traits shown in the ratio 3:1 and no blending were seen. So this is the actually the schematic pathway, and that's also called the Punnett square. That's also called the Punnett square. So what is the meaning of this? That actually this is the production of gametes by the parents. This is actually the production of gametes by the parents and the formation of zygote. Okay. So here look at the structure. This is the parental generation. This is the P generation. Okay. This is the parental generation, and in the parental generation, so these are the parents, capital T and small t, and from the capital T one gamete is there, capital T, and from the small t one gamete is there, the small t. So now when capital T and small t crossed, then we are getting capital T small t. Okay, I am repeating again, when we are crossing capital T and small t, then we are getting capital T small t, and this is our F1 generation. This is our F1 generation. Okay. Now in the F2 generation, what happened in the F2 generation? Just look at the diagram. What happened in the F2 generation? This F2 generation, it crossed capital T small t and capital T small t. Why? Because already I have said that F2 means the F1 into F1. F2 means the F1 into F1. Okay. So this is our F2 generation. So F2 generation means the F1 generation into F1 generation. So our product of F1 generation in capital T small t, we all know that in the product of the F1 generation, the result of the F1 generation is capital T and small t. Okay. So F2 generation means the F1 into F1. So that's why I am multiplying capital T small t into capital T small t. Now we are getting this scenario. Now we are getting this scenario. So from this scenario, we actually can evaluate the phenotypic and genotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio means the which we can see from the outside. Okay, so the phenotypic ratio is the 3:1. Look at the thing, that phenotypic ratio is the 3:1. What is the meaning of 3:1? 3 means the tall, 3 tall and only 1 dwarf. 3 tall and only 1 dwarf. So here from this result we are getting 3 tall, one is the capital T, this is pure tall. Okay, another one is the capital T small t. Okay, because of the capital T, it actually masks of the characteristics of the small t. So this capital T small t, it looks like tall from the outside. So what I have said already, what is the meaning of the phenotypic characters, or what is the meaning of the phenotype? Phenotype means the external morphological characteristics. It means the morphological characteristics or which we can see from the outside. Which we can see from the outside. That's called the phenotype. So in this case actually, so this capital T is obviously tall. Okay, because of the tall gene, because of the dominant gene, so it obviously looks like tall. But in the capital T small t, so there are two capital T small t is there. There are two capital T and small t is there. So for this capital T small t, so it also looks like tall from the outside. Okay, why? Because of the presence of the dominant gene. Here capital T is the dominant gene. So that's why, so total 3 tall and 1 dwarf. 1 dwarf means the this small t. So this is the phenotypic thing. And in the genotype, genotypic means the genetic composition which we cannot see from outside. So you cannot see your genetic composition from the outside. Okay, you don't know about your genetic composition from the outside. So this is our genotypic ratio, and the genotypic ratio is the 1:2:1. The genotypic ratio is the 1:2:1. Okay, so what is the meaning of 1 is for pure tall. Okay, here 1 is for pure dwarf, but 2, the another characteristics are there. This capital T small t is the hybrid characteristics. Okay, so its genetic composition is different than the tall and the dwarf, so that's why for this 2 is for this hybrid. So that's why 1:2:1. So 1 for the tall, 2 for these 2 hybrids, and last one is for the dwarf. So this is the Mendel's monohybrid cross. This is the result of Mendel's monohybrid cross. The next thing is the Mendel's actually proposed something is stable being passed to the next generation through gametes. That's called the factors or genes. This is called the factors and this is genes. So I am repeating again. Actually he proposed that some factors passed down from parents to offspring through the gametes over the successive generation. Okay, so nowadays these factors are known as the gene, and hence this gene actually code for a pair of contrasting traits like the tall and dwarf. Okay, so this is also called the alleles or the allelomorph. So I am repeating again, what is the meaning of the factors? So he proposed then some factors which pass down from parents to offspring through the gametes over successive generation. So this is actually, these factors are nowadays is called as the gene, and genes are hence the units of the inheritance. So this is the basic thing. Next point is these genes or factors, the unit of inheritance, contain the information required to express the particular trait, because without genes any characteristics cannot be shown. So this is the basic things. Without genes any characteristics, any traits cannot be expressed. So that's why gene is the main unit of inheritance, the functional unit of inheritance, and it contains the different kind of information which is required to express the particular trait, particular characteristics. Next thing is the genes which code for a pair of a contrasting trait, that's called the allele. Already I have discussed. So what is the meaning of allele? That genes which code for a pair of contrasting traits are known as the alleles or the allelomorph. So what is the meaning of this? That they are slightly different forms of the same gene. Next thing is the alphabetical symbols were used, like the capital T, it means the tall, small t, it means the dwarf. And always remember, the capital letter is always denotes the dominant gene, and the small letter is always denotes the recessive gene. Okay, so here the plant's pair of alleles for height, that the capital T, small t, and the small t. After that, Mendel proposed the true breeding tall or dwarf plant is identical or the homozygous allele pair or the genotype. Okay, I am repeating again what is the meaning of that. Before discussing this genotype and phenotype, I am actually repeating again the dominant and recessive thing, that which genes actually occur in pairs in which one dominates the other. Okay, so who can dominate the other gene? This gene is called this factor is called the dominant factor or dominant gene, and actually this dominant factor they can express itself. And this recessive, what is the meaning of the recessive gene? What is the meaning of the recessive factor? That this factor or this gene cannot mask up the other characteristics, cannot influence the other characteristics. Actually, in these kinds of factor, this gene remains hidden and is called the recessive factor. Okay, so descriptive term of tall or dwarf is called the phenotype. So this height, this tall, like I am tall person, I am dwarf person, so you can see from the outside. So that's why this is the phenotype characteristics. But for which gene I am tall or for which gene I am dwarf, you cannot see from the outside. So that's why this is called the genetic composition and this is the genotype. Next thing is the Mendel found phenotype of heterozygote capital T small t of F1 was same as parent with capital T and proposed in a pair of dissimilar factors, one dominant and other is called the dominant and the recessive. Okay, so one is the dominant. So here I am showing again that capital T, this is the dominant and the small t is the recessive characteristics. Okay, I am repeating again, this is the this capital T, it means the dominant and the small t it means the recessive. And already I have discussed this thing that the dominant gene always marked as the capital letter, okay, and the recessive gene always denoted as the small letter. So this is the overview of the Mendel's proposal. This is the monohybrid cross. Actually this cross, this Punnett square is very important for your exam. This is very important for your exam. So please go through it properly. That this is the phenotype and genotype. This is the parental, actually the generation, the P generation, when capital T crossed with the small t. This capital T is the homozygous dominant and small t is the homozygous recessive. Why this is called the homozygous? Homo means the same, okay, as because this actually capital T is present, so that's why this is the dominant, and as because here small t is present, that's why this is the recessive. So when you cross the capital T into small t, then you are getting capital T small t, okay. This is the F1 generation, okay, and F2 generation means the F1 into F1. So this is your F2 generation. So it means you have to cross that capital T small t into capital T small t, okay. So now in this way, that capital T small t and the small t, okay. So from this actually Punnett square you are getting phenotypic ratio is 3:1, okay. Why? Because 3 tall and 1 dwarf. 3 tall, this is the 3 tall and 1 dwarf, okay. Because now you can ask me, ma'am, capital T small t is the other genetic composition, so why it's actually belong to the tall? Because it looks like tall. Phenotypic things means the phenotype means the morphological characteristics, so that's why it looks like tall from the outside. So that's why in phenotypic ratio it means total 3 tall and only 1 dwarf, okay. But in the genotypic ratio, the next thing is the genotypic ratio. So in the genotypic ratio, the ratio is the 1:2:1. Why? Because 1 for the capital tall, actually the dominant tall, another one is for the dwarf, but these two capital T small t, its genetic composition is different than the capital T and small t. So that's why the ratio is the 1:2. This 2 means these two, capital T small t and capital T small t, and then 1, it means the small t. So this is the actually the Punnett square of the monohybrid cross. This Punnett square is very important for your exam, and please go through this portion again and again, otherwise you cannot write in this way, okay, because during the time of your exam you have to write just in this way, okay. So that's why follow the video properly. Next one is the production of gametes and formation of zygotes, that's called the Punnett square. It developed by the British scientist C. Punnett, and this is the graphical representation through which it actually calculates the probability of possible genotypes and the phenotypes in the genetic cross, okay. So in the self-pollinated 50%, that F2 is the 3rd, 4th tall and 1/4 dwarf phenotypically, okay, and the genotype is the 1:2:1. So this is the actually the conclusion of the Mendel's monohybrid cross. So next thing is the test cross. What is the meaning of the test cross? So this is actually the cross between the hybrid and its homozygous recessive parent. I am repeating again, the cross between the hybrid and its homozygous recessive parent. So I am showing the picture again. the cross between the hybrid and the homozygous recessive parent. It means the hybrid means the capital T small t. This is the hybrid, capital T small t, and the homozygous recessive parent. This is the parent. This is the parent generation, that capital T and small t small t. So you have to cross that the capital T small t into small t small t. Why? Because the hybrid into the homozygous recessive. So that's called the test cross, and it's used to identify the genotype of the hybrid. Okay, just look at the diagram. This is the dominant phenotype, okay, and in the this is the homozygous recessive white, and this is the homozygous again recessive white, and in this way you can cross this test cross thing. Next thing is the Mendel's law of heredity. This is the actually the inference. This is actually the inference of the experiment. So rules were proposed by the principles or laws of inheritance. The first law is the law of dominance, and the second law is the law of segregation. So this law is very important for your exam. This law is very important for your exam. So please go through it properly. So what is the basic features of the law of dominance, and what is the basic things of the law of dominance? Actually, this law of dominance is the first law. Okay, this law of dominance is the first law of the Mendel's experiment. So first thing is the characters are controlled by discrete units. It's called the factors. Second one, factors occur in pair. Third one, in a dissimilar pair of factors, one member of the pair dominates and the other is the recessive, and used to explain the expression if only one of the parental characteristics in monohybrid cross and expression of both in the F2 generation. Why? Because in the F2 generation means the F1 into F1. Actually, this law is used actually for explaining, for giving the explanation, the expression of only one of the parental characteristics in a monohybrid cross. And during the time of your exam, you have to write properly what I have written, because this is law. This is actually, this law is discovered by one scientist, so you cannot change the word, you cannot change the sentence. Okay, so you have to write properly in this way. So this actually, there are 3 points of this law of dominance of the first law. The first law is the characters are controlled by the discrete units called the factor. Second is the factors occurs in pairs. Third one is the in a dissimilar pair of factors, one member of the pair is dominant and the other is the recessive. Actually, these kinds of law, especially this law of dominance actually express or used to explain the expression of only one of the parental characteristics in a monohybrid cross in the F1 generation and the expression of both in the F2 generation. It actually explains the proportion of 3:1 ratio which obtained in the F2 generation. Okay, so this is the main thing. Next thing is the law of segregation. This is the second law from the Mendel's monohybrid cross. Actually, 2 laws are the, he conclude these 2 laws. The first one is the law of dominance and the second is the law of segregation. The first thing is it states that when a pair of factors for a character brought together in a hybrid, they segregate during the formation of the gametes. Okay, there is actually no chance of mixing the characteristics. So that's why during the time of the sexual reproduction, the father body gives 50% character and the mother body gives 50% character, and we are getting some unique characteristics. Why? Because during the time of this giving, during the time of this passing, so all the characteristics become separate during the formation of the gametes. So they are not mixing up. So that's why we are getting some unique characteristics. We are not getting any mixed characteristics. Okay. So alleles do not blend both characters recovered in F2 and one in the F1. Okay, and factors which is present in the parent segregate and gametes receive only 1 or 2 factors. Next one is the homozygous parent, only one kind of gamete, and heterozygous parent, 2 kind of gamete, each one have 1 allele with the equal proportion. So normally these alleles, actually normally these laws states that through the parents, when the parents are giving the characters during the time of the sexual reproduction, that time it contains two alleles during the gamete formation. Okay, one from the father body, another from the mother body, and the factors or alleles of a pair which segregate from each other such that a gamete receives only one of the two characteristics. Suppose for the height, this height gene, so mother body also gives the character, father body also gives the character, but within these two characteristics we are getting, the offspring is getting only one characters of the two factors, one gene of these two gene. Okay, so hence alleles actually do not show any blending, any mixing procedure, and for that reason both the characters are recovered as such in the F2 generation. Okay, so that's why offsprings are carrying some unique characteristics, not any kinds of the blending characteristics during the time of the birth. So this is the basic things of the law of segregation. And one thing, during, I am repeating again and again, during the time of your exam you have to write properly in this way. You cannot make story, you cannot write in your own sentences, because this is one law and this law is discovered by one scientist. So that's why you have to write properly in this way. So this is the two law. By these two law actually we are actually discovering this thing, that the Mendel's monohybrid cross. Okay, so from the Mendel monohybrid cross we can infer these two law, the law of dominance and the law of segregation. So from this is the last slide for today. In our next slide we will discuss the Mendel's dihybrid cross, and from this video we actually come to know that first thing is the Mendel's monohybrid cross and the two laws which actually Mendel inferred from his experiment, the law of dominance and the law of segregation. And this Mendel's monohybrid cross is very important for your exam. I am repeating again, this Mendel's monohybrid cross, this Mendel's experiment is very important for your exam. So please go through it properly. I am repeating again, please go through it properly, otherwise you will face problem during the time of your board exam and your the school exam also. And please go through each and every videos properly. Already I have made session 1 of this chapter and this is the session 2. So please go through each and every topic, each and every video, and this chapter is quite interesting chapter and quite difficult chapter too. So that's why go through this properly, and if you have any queries ask me immediately. So this is the end of the today's session. In our next session we will discuss another topic. So thank you. Bye.